A very good Sunday morning to you, and I hope I find you very well today. Weather here in Manchester, not too bad for a January morning. A little bit of blue sky, a little bit of grey cloud, but all in all, not a bad day. This is a video request from that watch Leviathan north of the border, Simon Crane, who made a suggestion to me after my first video of the year that I might quite like to do a video regarding the Tudor Black Bay. Not so much as to give it a review, because I don't own one. I've only actually seen them in a shop window, never actually held one, to be honest. So if there's anybody out there that wants me to do a review on one, and if you're not too far away and you're willing to entrust me with your pride and joy, I'll wear it for a little while and give you my slant on the watch. Anyway, to move along, what Simon asked me to do was to kind of give my opinion whether the continued popularity of the Tudor brand, and particularly the Black Bay, would carry on through 2016, perhaps going into 2017. Now, I think probably a good place to start here is sort of to give a little bit of background, as it were, to Tudor as a brand. And I think to a certain extent, the video for certain people could begin and end here by one statement and one statement alone, which is Tudor, Rolex's poor cousin. Enough said. Thank you very much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, don't worry about it and leave a comment below. So that could end there. But the thing is with that kind of statement is, one, it kind of never was true. And two, it certainly isn't true now. As we're all aware that certain models of the Tudor range have got a lot of traction. It certainly seems in the last 12 months, maybe 18 months, a lot of people have gone down the route of buying the Pelagos, for instance. Great looking watch, in my view, great value for money. Now the Black Bay is something that's kind of crept up, in my view, in the wake of the Pelagos. Now, obviously all started off with the Black Bay Black. Excuse me. Handsome prince in the throat this morning. Have no idea why, but hey ho. What you've got is a watch which I feel, what Tudor are doing at the moment very, very successfully, is pulling themselves out by their fingernails from under the shadow of Rolex and making themselves to be this standalone brand, which can be viewed in no other light than being a very, very positive thing for Tudor. Why I think that is a very positive thing is we are all aware that when big conglomerates, the Swatch Group being the prime example of this, have a number of brands under their umbrella, they have so much control, which can actually verge into the kind of the dictatorial kind of thing. I'm sure that Rolex will say to the head honchos at Tudor, no, I'm sorry, you can't do this because you're starting to look a little bit too much like, or be reminiscent of, features and benefits of the subby, for instance. And oh no, we can't be having that. So Tudor, what I think are doing very, very cleverly in their point of view, is bringing themselves out of Rolex's shadow and becoming a power to themselves. Now, what Simon seems to be getting at here is the popularity of the Black Bay just a flash in the pan? Is that what it is? Because the Pelagos seem to have gone through that being pushed into the spotlight, and everybody buying one, and it being a very, very popular watch. And then that's kind of seemed to have died down a little bit. And the Black Bay has kind of stepped over the Pelagos, as it were, to bring itself to the fore. Now, my opinion is that because of the Black Bay Black, my personal favourite, the Black Bay Blue, and I will go on to explain why, and obviously the Black Bay Red bezel, and obviously there's a new one now, isn't it? Which is the Black Bay Black with the gold inserts. I think what Tudor are succeeding in doing is making a range of watches solely in that model, which will be more or less every watch you could possibly need. They are all professional divers. They all have a unidirectional bezel. They are all very, very stylistically identifiable as Rolex-esque. And I'm sorry, you Rolex fanboys out there, but they kind of are. Because if you look back far enough in the Rolex line, if you go back to kind of the 1950s, those are the design cues that the Black Bay is echoing right now. What I think people like about the Black Bay is it is very, very subtle. It is giving, one of those little sly nods to Rolex. It's not a sub homage on one hand, but on the other hand, it actually is. And I think that Rolex as a company should actually be taking quite a lot of happiness from that and joy, because what is actually happening is that Tudor have looked backwards to allow them to look forwards in designing a watch, which is a joy to look at, very, very simplistic, but a joy nevertheless. What I do think that what people like about the Black Bay is exactly what I like about it. Is it's got the very, very big crown. Now, the good thing about the crown, as far as a diver is concerned, very similar to what I would consider to be that should be the constant in every pilot watch, because in the old days, in World War I, World War II, more World War II than anything else, because the planes were able to fly higher, the cold didn't enable you to not wear gloves. So you had to have a massive crown to enable you to change settings, times. If you're using an interior bezel, for instance, for calculating flight times, you needed a big, chunky crown. Now, I don't dive. I've never dived. Solely because I can't, because of my asthma. They won't let me use tanks. But I can only assume, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that obviously it's very, very difficult, if you need to change settings on your watch with neoprene gloves on if you're diving in cold water, or I suppose when your fingers get wrinkly, it's hard to do that if you need to on a dive watch. So this big crown is a great signifier of what the watch actually is, which is a good quality professional diver. What I also like, and I guess this is actually quite a big selling point for the watch itself, is the coloured insert between the crown and the case. So on the Black Bay Black, you've got the black insert, the Black Bay the red bezel, you've got the red insert, and the Black Bay Blue, you've got a blue insert. Now, it's only a small thing, but like most things in this world, it is the small things that make the whole package, as it were, special. If you get into a new model of an older car, as it were, and you sit there and you think, well, hang on, nothing's really changed, but it feels different. And then you will find by looking around the cabin of the car that maybe they've changed the shape of the clock, or they've changed the shape of the speedo or whatever, and you think that little change has made all the difference. And I think that is what is actually happening where the Black Bay is concerned. So where the Black Bay range is concerned, I think what Tudor need to do is not go mad with it now. They've got the four base models: the Black Bay Black, the Black Bay Blue, the Black Bay Red, and the Black Bay. And I don't know what the model name is with the gold inserts, but very, very classy. Stick with those four. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think they need to change them anytime soon, because for the quality of the watch, knowing what the heritage is of the watch and what it's echoing, and the very, very good value for money of the Tudor range as a whole, but certainly for the Black Bay, they don't need to move from that, because they will gain traction throughout the watch community, because more and more people are making favourable reviews regarding the Black Bay. Now, to try and answer Simon's question simply is, do I think it will continue with its popularity? I see no reason why not, Simon. Where I am at the moment is, at some point, I will be looking for another watch. Now, will I go down the line of what I think I might go down the line of, which is just a cheap watch, which I've liked for 2 or 3 years now, the Orient Bambino? Or will I go down the route of a more expensive watch, but not quite as expensive, as you know that I'm looking at the IWC Portofino. So the intermediate watch there is something like the Black Bay. Now, my favourite, as I've said, is the Black Bay Blue. Now, the reason for that is the Black Bay Blue, for me, has echoes of my Omega Seamaster 300 Professional. Obviously because it's blue, but also it is so quiet. It sits very nicely as it, as a prestige timepiece that's not very shouty. It is obviously a bona fide dive watch. It looks brilliant on a bracelet. I am, as you know, a bracelet guy. It's what I do. I know there are guys out there who love their Zulus, etc., and NATOs, and that's not me. I'm a bracelet guy. But I have seen the Black Bay Blue on a navy blue rubber dive strap, and it looks brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So again, like, some watches can pull this off, some can't, but the Black Bay Blue, I think, can. So if you're going out for an evening and you can put your Black Bay Blue on the bracelet, it will sit very well with any attire. If you want to laze on the beach or actually go swimming in it, you put the rubber dive strap on and it will look just exactly what it is, which is a brilliant, brilliant sports watch. So the Black Bay Blue for me is the outstanding one. Having said that, the new one with the gold inserts, which looks very, very retro, I would wager that will look good on a bracelet, but I would also wager if you put that on a very, very nice black Italian leather strap with a lovely chromed buckle, I think that would carry off as a dress watch, nearly. It obviously isn't a dress watch, but I think it would carry it off. Do I see any reason why their popularity should wane? No. The only mistake I can see Tudor making is, well, two mistakes possibly. One, listening to Rolex too much and being held back from their own development. And two, deciding because they are so popular, they hike the prices up. There is no downside. They've got the Workhorse 2824 movement in. I know not everybody is a fan of ETA movements. Personally, love them. Think they're great. They've been proved as reliable over many, many years. And regardless of what anybody says, most movements in most watches have their genesis with an ETA movement. And all the other companies who make in-house movements, they've taken an ETA and changed it around, put their own gear shade work on it, and altered the rotor slightly and all that kind of thing, just to make it, or call it, an in-house movement. So all the worries about ETA movements, put them to one side. What you have here is a great looking watch which will last you the test of time with a well proven movement inside. So should their popularity last? Yes, absolutely, without doubt. As long as they don't do anything silly, as long as they don't change the design too much, because I think they've got a winner on their hands there. I think what they've got with the Black Bay right now is their own particular version of a subby. And if they're very careful, it could become an ingrained watch within the watch community. It could be something that is universally well thought of. So should it do well in 2016? Yes, I see no reason why not. Should it do well in 2017? Absolutely. I think by 2018, I think that Tudor will perhaps be feeling the pressure to change it slightly. If they do that, be very, very careful. But I do think that the popularity will stay. I do think that the knowledge of them and the delight in owning one will grow within the community such as ourselves. And I also think that if you're looking to buy a good quality dive watch, for what not is a lot of money. I mean, we're looking about what, 3,000 sterling, $3,600 maybe. It is a good investment, and if it is going to be your only investment in a good quality watch, I don't think you can go wrong. I really don't. It's half the price of a subby, pretty much. And that half the price can make all the difference between owning something of quality and owning something that you're going to be struggling to pay off. Don't get yourselves in hock. Never do that. So to wind this up, great watch. Love how they look. I may own one. Don't know. May do in the future. I see them going from strength to strength as long as Tudor don't change them too much, and as long as they don't hike the price because they think they can get away with it. So I hope that's answered your question, Simon, to be perfectly honest. I think it is the way to go. There's nothing within the Black Bay that you can dislike. I don't think. You've got a range of different colours. You've got a tried and tested movement. So yes, they will continue to grow in popularity and build a reputation for Tudor, completely separate to their big brother or big cousin Rolex. So that's it, I think, for this one. If you like this one and find it informative, give it a thumbs up. If it's your first time here and you think, well, it's quite interesting this, feel free to subscribe. If you've not seen any of my other stuff, we've got over 200 videos now. Have a look back to the very early stuff, which is pretty grainy quality before I upgraded to HD. Any questions, queries, suggestions to this kind of nonsense, drop them down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Tudor range, not just the Black Bay. If you own something else, if you own a Pelagos, or if you own the Heritage Advisor, for instance, one of my personal favourites, let me know. Tell me what you think about those, and let me know whether my feelings about Tudor as a brand are right, or whether I've kind of missed the target a little bit there. So that's it for this one, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I've not checked my numbers today, so I have no idea whether I've got anybody new joining the clan, but if there is, I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thanks a lot for watching this, and I shall speak to you again soon. Bye bye.